Welcome to the Rainbow Gateway Oracle. This is a message for Virgo. Sun, moon, rising, all placements. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate your likes, shares, and subscribes. The resonance will not be for everyone. It's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. I have readings for sale in the description box. Feel free to check out the link there. I'll never reach out to you and ask for money, and the readings are only available on this channel in this description box. And without further ado, we will get started here. We have the Archeo deck to begin. And let's see what Spirit wants to bring out here for Virgo. We have eccentric. I have the Oracle of the Radiant Sun here. Let's see what comes out. This deck is missing the card that says patience on it. And that's because my spirit guides gave me that card one day and I got so pissed off I ripped it up and threw it away. So you might not have very good patience either. We have inspiration here. That could be just me. You're inspired by eccentricity because of the sort of sense of uniqueness and originality in it. It helps to inspire your work, whatever your work is. We have the archetype cards. They already did a little pre-shuffle. Let's see what comes out here for Virgo. What does Virgo need to hear? Mystic and Mother. Your mother may be eccentric. Your mother might be your inspiration. There's a mother here who's eccentric and a mystic. There's something about being inspired by your mother. She doesn't do it like everyone else. Not at all. That may have been something that was embarrassing to you as a child or a teenager growing up. Perhaps you craved more normalcy, whatever that means. But, we sort of have an idea when we're kids that our moms or dads aren't like all the other moms and dads. But I feel like now it's more of a source of inspiration for you in your life than something embarrassing. What else for Virgo here? Unicorns. We have oneness. Look for the common humanity. Invoke Lemurian light. You didn't used to be able to appreciate your mother at all, is what I'm getting here. You never appreciated her at all because she's weird, frankly. And however, it's helped you, I feel like, in accepting other people who were kind of oddballs in life because your mother was so strange. You may have a tendency to like really connect with people who are off the wall, if you will, and have a sort of like radar to people like that in your life. They seem to maybe flock to you. These also may be people you want to network with for business or, whatever other activities you do with people in life. Sharing time and space, even in like a volunteering kind of a setting, but so, perhaps even you're looking for the right people to market your business to even. So how do you like tap into, that particular demographic, the oddballs in the world, because they don't necessarily fit in any one category, besides, not like everyone else and sticks out like a sore thumb. Advocate. You could be an advocate for helping people that feel like they're on the outside, that feel like they're weird and eccentric and don't fit in anywhere no matter what they do. And in helping people who are unique to accept themselves as unique, because their uniqueness is needed, but that can be really hard when you feel alienated by your differences, but it's actually your differences that are your strengths, really, because no one else does it like you. That brings in so much, creativity and potential, and not always doing things the way everyone else does it. How do you ever have a breakthrough or a new invention? And, you need that uniqueness and originality. Two of Swords here for Virgo. I feel like, you go back and forth maybe between like feeling inspired and feeling like your mother's delusional. Feeling inspired by her mysticism and her uniqueness, and it's like, they talk about creative genius and how, you're kind of walking on that borderline of quote unquote insanity, but it's like they're not mentally ill. They definitely are aligned, is what the message is, but it might come through as a little nuts to you sometimes because they may be really out there, and the spiritual community, the entertainers, the hippie wanderers, the yogis, there's kind of like the space aliens, the star seeds, we're all out there, whatever category you seem to fit in. There's usually more than one. I'm just kind of getting like this Venn diagram image in my head of like, the different categories and how they overlap, and how, the people who identify here have these traits, but then they also fit in with these people over here. And there's kind of like, you can't fit someone like this into a box, and they're not meant to be in that box, but it's human nature to categorize, organize, label, and, you just... Prince of Wands. It's time for you to release the part of you that still thinks she's nuts, okay? That's what's coming through. You've seen enough now to recognize that she was never, crazy, loony, whatever. Sort of names and labels get put on it when you're a teenager, even growing into an adult, as a kid, and the inner struggle with accepting the human beings who birthed us into this earth. It's time for you to kind of let that side of it, like, there's this going back and forth. It's important for you to stay on the inspired side instead of, falling into a mindset about your mother being, mentally ill because of her mysticism and her ability to see beyond what most people can see. That's why it seemed like she was crazy, but now you know that she's not, and because you're able to see more now, so you can let that go. But there's an energy here that it still kind of pulls you into that belief from time to time, especially when you feel, unloved in the moment, or uncared for, or unnurtured, whatever your mom provides for you as a mother. When she's unavailable to you in some kind of a way, whatever the trigger's going on inside, that's kind of when your mind goes back into, God, she's a fucking whack job, and I don't think she's mentally well, but actually she really is. And it's important for you to recognize that about her. She's just really super connected in the other dimensional realms, and it's difficult to sort of navigate Earth when you have a really high vibrational psychic realm kind of an experience, because even if you believe in those kind of things, you don't have the same experiences. And so, your belief is conceptual. It's like, I have an idea of what this sounds like or what it might feel like, but I really don't know what it's like without actually experiencing it. And I use this example a lot. It's like, if you've never seen an orange before, if you've never had the fruit that's an orange, and you've never seen citrus before in your life or anything like that, I could tell you about it. I could describe it to you. I could tell you what it looks like and everything like that. But until you actually take the time to peel an orange and feel that sort of like mist of orange fumes coming at you when you're peeling it and tasting it and having the juice and everything like that, it's like there's an inability to understand due to lack of having experienced it. And, you know, the wounded ego mind, which many human beings are walking around with on a regular basis, just defaults to what it thinks it knows. It thinks it knows everything, and it doesn't. And that's the thing we have to shift gears about. We have the sacred clown. This is the Fool energy. Don't get caught up in the old trap. It's like thinking first, speaking first, taking steps first without taking a breath, without being mindful. You know, this could have to do with the way you speak to your mom too. If you want a new start with her, it's real important that you be careful of where you're stepping around her and the words that are coming out of your mouth. And it's important to take a breath. We have the Thief. Sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. So this is coming through in a positive way. The Thief archetype helps you see your own resource. See, when you realize that you're your own resource on the inside, you don't need to steal from anyone else. And you'll never be without what you need and want because you recognize yourself as your own resource. So this energy here is like, it's wanting you to see that about yourself and about being a mystic made your mother her own resource. That's how she made money in life, was by doing readings. So she was able to be her own resource and make her own money. And you know, and that at the time may not have been acceptable, right? Because of one, I mean, the stigma surrounding psychics and stuff like that, but also, you know, being a woman who's a breadwinner. And, you know, we're still kind of stuck in these antiquated belief structures, at least in the United States, when it comes to, you know, men and women. It's still, you know, I mean, we try to find equality here. I mean, women couldn't vote until what, like the 20s? there's still a huge, you know, is disparagement the right word? There's still like a huge, whatever that word is I'm trying to pull, you know, between men and women, it's still like a man's world, even though we would like to say that we're more modern and stuff like that. There's still a huge, you know, sort of imbalance between the sexes, if you will. And, you know, it's changing slowly over time. You know, this is evolution, and, you know, we have to see how the lower levels of consciousness take their time. You know, we have in evolutionary astrology, they talk about the levels of consciousness. You know, we have the consensus level of consciousness, we have the individuated levels, and we have the spiritual levels. And there's 3 different, you know, there's consensus 1, 2, 3, individuated 1, 2, 3, spiritual 1, 2, 3. And these are the levels of consciousness that we're all working through, according to evolutionary astrology theory. And I'm sure there are many other theories regarding these matters. And, you know, take your own belief systems, that's fine. A lot of these things are very similar and just help us to try to explain what's really unexplainable to the finite human mind. The archetype of mystic is not often well received in our current mainstream society. And this was your mother to be a pioneer on this path, to becoming her own resource and not having to rely on a man for money in life, which is not bad or wrong to do that, but being able to find that independence is important for any individual, regardless of sex, gender, or creed, really. But, you know, we've been raised in a society where, you know, men go to work and women stay home. And that's not the way it is anymore, but that was the way it was. And this is, you know, sort of your mother pioneering, you know, that kind of thing. So that wasn't easy for her at the time, not only to be a psychic, but also to be a woman breadwinner. And we have the Green Man. There's definitely a new beginning here. She loves you very much, and she would really love to work with you and show you the ropes, if you will. And you may be a little bit nervous about that because of, you know, the past and whatnot, but, you know, don't allow that to block your way. You know, that's kind of like this thing here. You got to stay out of these traps. And that's when, you know, when you get triggered, when you don't feel supported or loved by your mom in some kind of way, you know, just stay out of these traps. And, you know, she's not meaning to do anything hurtful to you, but you've taken her eccentricity personally in your life as if it was some kind of an embarrassment to you, really. And now you're realizing that she had a lot of value in your life that you couldn't see at the time. And there's nothing wrong, you know, I mean, that's just how it is sometimes with parents and children. You know, we have to rebel against our parents and see things different ways. You're here because you're wanting a new beginning with your mom. And you're also wanting to learn her craft too. You want to learn, your esoteric knowledge and, potentially build your own business here too. Like, this is going to bring riches to you. It says riches. It's going to bring in coins. It's going to bring in, money to fund your life. It's going to be a resource for you. Inspires you to put compassion into action. So it's like approaching everything you do here, advocating for compassionate communication is important for you. See what else comes out here. What else does Virgo need to know? Companionship. Making friends with your mom, doing business with your mom, making a deal with your mom, being a novice while your mom teaches you, or whatever that is. We have authority here on this card. See what else comes out here. Authority and resistance. Your mother has always gone against the mainstream, has always gone against the established authority, has not been someone interested in Christianity or organized religion. It's like they're very resistant to anything that resembles organized religion here. They've been very persistent, consistent, to being told how to do anything, really. She does it her way. You can't tell her what to do or how to do it. She came here on this earth to help shift the consciousness of humanity out of that really stubborn mindset. Because she's a pioneer. And there are many like her out there who are completely different from her, but in their purpose work that they came to the earth for, in order to shift and evolve over time. Flattery and devotion here. I have 3 and I have number 7 that's coming through. It's important to find the good things about your mother that you love instead of focusing on the things that were negative to you growing up. And you know, one of the things that you could compliment her about is her devotion to her, you know, path of going against the grain. It's not easy to go against the grain and be the only one, and to be singled out and to be made fun of and not to be accepted. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of strength to be able to go your own way in life. And, you know, the way society sets it up is that, you know, when you go your own way, you know, there's something wrong with you, right? For whatever reason, you know, we want to be fitting into society, but we don't really want to be like everyone else. And that's the thing. We try to be like each other too much, and we don't have that originality. Some people are a lot more traditional, and that's okay. And some people really are the opposite. And she was really devoted to her authentic self, and that's rare on this planet. Harmony. I feel like really positive things are coming out of this relationship with your mom. Appreciation. You're finding appreciation for her. There's something that you're still working through from childhood. And, you know, no one's perfect. And, you know, we all have shadow. And you'll hear me say that over and over again. You know, I'm not getting any, you know, malignancies here with mom. I'm just getting that she was, you know, just extremely out there. And, you know, that's really hard on a young kid. You know, like, to be the weird kid, you know, the one who doesn't show up with a lunchbox and shows up with, like, you know, some other kind of lunch that's different from everyone else. You know, that's kind of like, you know, I've heard that from, you know, friends of mine who are, you know, immigrants, and, you know, they were, you know, with their parents who were total immigrants, and then their kids growing up in like American schools and stuff like that. And they, you know, they show up with like bento kind of boxes for lunch, and they don't have the same lunch as everyone else. That's the kind of thing that I'm just kind of picking up on. It's like, because there was something so different about you because of the way your mom was different about you. But that really gave you something that you wouldn't have gotten, and you probably weren't able to appreciate it at the time. Otherwise, I really feel like your relationship to her is good. There's just these things you've got to work through to uncord relationships here. Let go now. Forgiveness is freedom. So whatever you're working through here with your mom, I feel like you're about to be free of it. you're about to be free of whatever was sort of making you hate on her inside. And maybe not all the time you were hating on her, but the mind does that sometimes. Like I said, it's this back and forth. And whatever that was, whatever that wound was inside of you, it's getting ready to release now. And you're going to feel a lot better about your relationship with her. And you're actually, I'm getting either you're following in her footsteps in a business, you're starting something new with her, you're starting a new relationship with her after, whatever happened in the past. I feel like there's definitely some type of like money making between the two of you. It's a money making thing. There's definitely something in that business for you. You're going to feel a lot better about it as soon as this releases. And you're going to know when it happens, okay? There's another card here that wants to come out. Monk Nun. We have the shadow attributes coming out here. Negative judgment. So there's negative judgment here. It's just there's this negative judgment about your mom. Maybe she is religious, but not in the same way. Because there's negative judgment and it's showing me monk and nun. So this whole thing about the organized religion kind of popped out. Like, there's a lot of negative judgment about these types of people is what I'm getting. And that comes from your mom, actually. She's wanting to be so different and unique that in her mind, she kind of needs to hate on that establishment in order to be able to pioneer her own. Mahatma energy, build your light body, accelerate your ascension. In order for you to ascend and elevate your consciousness, there needs to be a release of the negative judgments that you're having towards any group of people. That's something that really needs to be worked on here, is releasing that negative judgment. Once you can do that, the heavens sort of just open up and align for you. You don't have to do anything. But it's really important that you do the work. So what happens when you have a negative judgment against that? You have to just pay attention to your thoughts. You have to pay attention to your mind. You have to do the mindfulness work in order to release that. You know, here we have, you know, what can you find about it that's actually good? You know, there's a level of fanaticism with a lot of, you know, zealoted kind of people. You know, but what can you find about it that's good? Because that's going to help you sprout like good, healthy thoughts in your head. So how can you find compliments and stay, you know, stay committed to that? Because that's going to help bring you a more positive frame of mind. You know, it won't kill you to do the meditation work that you need to do. The universe is urging you to take steps on a new path. We have the siren. You don't want to be duped. You don't want to be had. That's kind of the thing. You know, the siren's song, you know, often sends in the stories anyway, sends the sailors to their crushing death on the rocks oftentimes, and, you know, distracts them and doesn't deliver what was promised. And there's a message in that. That may be a fear. 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, there's a sense of working through that. You know, that may be something, you know, from the past that maybe I'm getting that there's a lot of words people aren't being straight up with you. They're not being straight up with you at times. And this can be talking about kind of like, I'm getting like the faith healers on TV, or like the types of religious people that are not really living by their principles. They're just trying to get your money. And there's something about this that's really kind of taken a toll on your life. Like maybe you've really been lied to by people like this or something like that, or you're afraid to be steered in the wrong direction perhaps, or you had a bad experience with whatever it is. There's the need to let that negativity go. And the work is getting done on that here. Once you sort of release that negative archetype inside of you, everything's gonna like elevate. I feel like the elevator is gonna move upwards. The level of consciousness is gonna raise. The The new beginning is going to happen. There's something you really need to let go of inside that has to do with a lot of negative judgment. It could be, you know, in terms of organized religion, or it has to do with your mother from the past. You have the ability to draw in the network of people that you need in order to do the business that you want to be doing. That's inspired in part by your mother. And essentially appreciating the things about your mom that you used to hate is important, because you're going to see how actually those things really shaped you and molded you into the person that you are in a positive way once you've, you know, sort of elevated out of the need to be accepted by, you know, your peers, you know, in elementary school and high school and stuff like that. This Prince of Wands here, there's a real need to rush you need to make a move, and you need to hurry. I don't usually say that to people, to hurry. I mean, breathe deeply into that, but you need to make a move to get on this. It's time. That's really... You may be having a hard time wanting to commit to it. And because you've been hemming and hawing over, like, oh, should I commit to this and do this? It's like the time is getting away from you, and you need to start. You need to go for it. You need to go for it. And then I'm getting the Connect 4, like, jingle from the commercials. Go for it, Connect 4. And, you know, so soul satisfaction. Honor your uniqueness. Do what makes you feel good. Yeah. There's a little bit of kind of angsty shadow energy here that I feel like is exiting your life, and you're going to feel so much better really soon. You're just kind of finishing up the last of this, God, my mother fucking sucks in your head, before you really are able to see her value. Once you see her value, your entire perspective on life is going to change. And it's like the ego mind is kind of go from this, like, you know, Evil Dead witchy looking, you know, energy to a more it's like you're gonna get rid of that part of you, and then, you know, step more fully and more boldly into your unique self. It won't be a trigger for you to be different. It'll be something that you can, you know, feel empowered by, instead of, you know, crazy and kooky and okay. Thank you for being here, Virgo. We're going to be doing subscriptions and romance things here in the future, but until we get that going, we're just going to be doing Virgo readings and sending the love as we move along. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time.